Mark Taylor Dream from the Lord, June 21, 2022. Note, this dream was actually 3 in 1. I was translated from one area to another. I will endeavor to describe each segment, then give research on it before moving on to another segment. First setting, I was standing by a Jeep Scout, white, in a national forest campground. Surrounded by forest, everything was lush, full, and green. I was in a parking area. There were others with me. Up an incline, hill, was an area where the campers parked with their campers. They were all in a row, about the same size. There were pickup trucks parked in front of some of the campers and people walking around. As I watched, one of those with me said, "There is Simon Cowell." He was standing in front of one of the campers. I knew that he wanted me to stay there with him, but I knew also that I had to leave. I and those with me piled into the Scout and started down the dirt road out of the park. As I pondered this part of the dream, this is what kept being heard: "You can't camp here, keep moving." The name Simon means to listen or to hear, or that listens or that hears. What came to mind was the revivals of old, like Azusa Street or the Toronto outpouring. Many have camped there still waiting for another outpouring. We need to go from one glory to the next, to keep moving with the Holy Spirit wherever He leads us. A cowl is worn around the neck. What came to mind was a yoke. A yoke will weigh you down, become a burden if you do not take the time to remove it. Many have worn these revival times like a cowl, never moving on. Always looking back at what was. Look forward, for there is where your destiny lies. Second setting, I was standing in the area of the concession stands and restrooms at a stadium or arena. These were down an incline from the actual stadium/arena. There were people coming and going. The event had not started yet. Over to the one side of the concession/restroom building there was a fence line. Along the fence line were saplings growing, basically obscuring the paddock beyond. There were breaks in the saplings. I saw 2 giant bulls. Their backs were taller than the treetops. One bull was red in color, and one was a brown or bronze color. They were facing each other. The red bull had reared up and its chest was resting upon the head and shoulders of the bronze bull. No one seemed to be aware of these 2 giant bulls fighting. They were too busy trying to get back to take their seats for the show to begin. I watched and realized that the red bull had put itself in a vulnerable position by exposing its underbelly to the bronze bull horns. I realized that the bronze bull was actually in the winning position. For with its horns, it could gut the red bull. Red bull represents China, who at the moment thinks they have the advantage and the victory. But they have put themselves into a very vulnerable position, exposing their underbelly, their underhanded dealings and plots. These plots and dealings will be revealed, exposed by the Lord. The bronze bull, which is known also as the Sicilian bull, the bull of Philaris, the Wall Street bull. This bull got into a secret but deadly alliance with the red bull. Now this bull is being brought down and the red bull has dealt it a deadly blow by betrayal. As they begin to fight for control one over the other, they both shall be dealt deadly wounds by the Lord. Still in this area, I looked behind the concession/restroom building. There was a smaller building there. To the left of this building was a fenced-in area. In the fenced-in area were 2 giant sumo wrestlers. One had red-colored skin with Japanese letters in black tattooed all over his body. He had the traditional top knot of hair of a sumo wrestler. The other was white-colored skin, no tattoos, his hair was in a ring around the head with a ponytail. They stood facing off. Represents 2 superpowers facing off. 2 giants that are looked at by the world as being superior in might, power and strength. Note that sumo wrestling originated in Japan. It was a form of entertainment to their deities. It is a full contact sport. Sumo also is known as clinch fighting. Each fighter attempts to force his opponent out of a circle drawn in the arena, or to force the other to touch the ground with any body part. The only thing that is allowed to touch the ground in this ring is the soleace of the feet. Third segment, I was at another stadium/arena. Out front of it this time, standing on the sidewalk. There was a small unattached building in front of the stadium/arena which was where you could buy tickets for the events. There were many people arriving and going into the stadium/arena. As I watched, I saw security guards standing at the doors, in front of the parking lot watching the people. They had on light blue polo shirts with black pants. I watched another man in a light green polo with black pants run up to one of the guards and grab him. The guard easily subdued him. Stadium means a fixed standard, a stage in life or history, as well as an oval-shaped building. Synonyms are bowl, circus, coliseum. Arena, a place or scene of activity, debate, or conflict. Synonyms: area, scene, sphere, realm, province, domain, section, forum, territory, theater, stage, world, battlefield, battleground. To sum it up, this dream was intended to sum up what has been taking place on the stage of the world. The enemy has attempted to strike deadly blows, not only to America but to other countries as well. Through their physical puppets they have tried to wrestle, destroy, kill God's destiny for this country and other countries. Their underbellies have been exposed and are now being gutted by the Lord. People have flocked to the event and the narrative of Satan's. But God's truth has prevailed. We should not dwell here in this place or build tents here. This is transition into a better time and place. God has already told us that America is His and that it will serve Him for His glory. Do not flock to the entertainment being pushed down your throats by media, movies, books. You have paid a high price for listening and hearing these lies. As the Lord begins to flood the earth with His glory, be careful that you keep moving with the Holy Spirit. There is much more to come before the end. Much more signs, wonders, miracles to be seen and experienced. A harvest to bring in. And battles to be fought, for the enemy will not give up easily. We will go from glory to glory. Do not go back into the world and its ways. Do not be conformed once again. Walk on with the Lord, for He is always moving into the future. Mark Taylor, Dream from the Lord, June